If a pantheon of built to last companies in the world, not only India, has to be ever made, Infosys will always find its name on the pedestal. So what has made Infosys a temple of corporate governance, a company which has seen the twists and the turns of economic uptick and slowdown, and more importantly, this kind of an shareholder confidence. Now, to understand that, it gives me extraordinary pleasure to bring on board Vallabh Bhanshali. Now, just to introduce his association with Infosys, as a merchant banker, Enam had taken Infosys public. Mr. Bhanshali has been closely associated with Infosys in various avatar, and he's always advocated that what really makes a company built to last is the ethos, it's the culture, and it is customer satisfaction. Mr. Bhanshali, Infosys has completed 40 years, and the fact that this company has managed to grow, it appears to me that the best is yet to come.
Yes, indeed, Nikunj. This company has deep roots and wonderful roots, and I would say probably unique roots in the world. Yesterday, I was at the Infosys campus celebrating 40 years, and Mr. Murthy, in his speech, explained why Infosys was made and what was the vision behind it. And it is because of that vision being played out by his extraordinary leadership and the support of his co-founders, who have all made huge sacrifices to create a dream, that Infosys has become possible. And so great to see the renewal of that commitment from hundreds of Infosians who were present there. So I think the best is indeed yet to come.
Mr. Bhanshali, when I distinctly remember when I started my career, it was TCS, Infosys, Wipro, and HCL Tech. Now, in last 30 years, the dynamism of the technology world has changed. From birth of US big tech 4 to adaptation of digital and IoT as in technology. Yet companies like Infosys and Wipro, they still remain at the top of the pedigree. So in today's disruptive world, why is that a sector which in a sense has disruption at its core, companies like Infosys and TCS have not got disrupted?
So I think, this whole software has different buckets. And these companies are in what is called software services. So as technology changes, you have to move from one technology to the other. As people upgrade their technology capabilities, so for example, small businesses did not have any technology. And then the technology started becoming available. As more and more people come into technology, you have different options to deliver. So for example, a mobile, now we just download an app. Otherwise, this required employing a software company to build that technology or build that software capability in your device, whether phone or PC or whatever, etc. So as the world enlarges, as number of participants who are using technology grows, the need to upgrade your technology, need to make one technology talk to the other technology, the capability of technology itself to do wonderful things, and now you have VR, AR, AI, and a lot of other features. As all these new technologies come up, it's like a plumber, right? You expand your house, you need more and more plumbing technology. Plumbing technology itself changes, then for that also you need plumbing. For repair, you need plumbing. So I think this has become so endemic to personal and business life that we need technology support. And the technology support is becoming ever easier, just as I give you an example of app, or there's a platform like Amazon is a platform. And to build all of this, you need technology to make each other talk technology. And therefore, companies that are continuously renewing themselves with new technologies, continuously renewing themselves in the delivery of technology, they will remain relevant forever. So that's what you're seeing, that Infosys is participating with pharmaceutical companies, with biological research companies, with the Football World Cup, and whatnot. So whatever be the area of life, these companies which have, deep learning capability, great culture to renew and bring in new talent, these are not easy capabilities to build for a business. And when you have a deep rooted culture encompassing all of these things, you have this great advantage, great company like Infosys. And you mentioned TCS. So TCS had fallen behind Infosys in rate of growth, but in the last 10, 12, 15 years, TCS has also come back. So we have two extraordinarily great companies in our country.
Mr. Bhanshali, all companies, they go through a cycle. They're young and high growth, then they reach what is called as the mature growth, and then they reach the contraction phase. What growth curve do you think Indian IT sector, and especially companies like Infosys and TCS currently are at? Because there is a lot of debate as to how the US recession and European slowdown could really impact them very adversely.
So there is no question that when the world economic expansion slows down, or instead of expansion, you have shrinkage of some kind, everything gets affected. But I would venture to say that technology gets affected the least, because this is now, it's not discretionary spending. A large part of it is coming into particularly of the kind of services that these companies render. You have to continue, because if you have to compete in the marketplace, you need better technology rather than otherwise. So even when things are difficult, you will cut your expense on other areas and continue to invest or spend on technology. So yes, you may see some slowdown, but we have seen that whenever the liberalization of liquidity, etc., comes back, growth comes back with a vengeance. We saw that in Corona period, the COVID period, that we had growth come back with a vengeance. So I expect that this sector should double in 10 years.
Now, it's not for the first time, Mr. Bhanshali. We've seen a fear of a slowdown and fear of a recession. But that time some would argue that the terrain was different. IT companies were sitting on cash, they were protecting their cash, they were protecting capital for the fear of unknown. Right now, they are far more liberal with their cash usage, whether it's buyback or giving out more dividends. So, do you think market would be differentiating in this time around when there is a possibility of a recession around the corner and the P multiples of these sectors will not contract?
So, you see market price behavior for various reasons. Sometimes for the nature of what is happening in the company, and sometimes what is happening in the market at large. So due to different reasons for allocation, you may see some of these changes. But I see that these companies have been liberal with their distribution for a long period of time. So none of these features are going to, they are not different. People will evaluate these companies in the same manner. Yes, those who are short-term in their nature, and some of the mutual funds and institutions, they are forced to be short-term in because of the requirements of their customers and investors, whatever. You see that some accentuated buying or selling take place. But those who are in it for long-term, I think the outlook has remained the same or probably slightly better. So short-term fluctuations for 6 months or 1 year here or there, etc., makes no difference, because I see that technology demand, the need for technology becomes, goes into pent-up area, but not into, destruction area. So it'll come back.
Mr. Bhanshali, I'm not trying to draw you to any kind of an political hot water, but over the years, when we've interacted on various forums, we've discussed Infosys and we've discussed how beautifully the founder promoters, in a sense, they vacated the space. Mr. Murthy retired, Nandan took over. From Mr. Nilekani, it was Krish and then Shibulal. What do you make of the comment which came from Mr. Murthy yesterday at the conference that it was a big mistake not to let the second generation come and play important role in Infosys?
I think there were two phases to this corporate governance aspect. At a time when the company had not established its culture, which was in, they say, early 90s when the company went public. It was very small. I seen the company grow from a few hundred people to, now a few lakhs of employees. So in the first phase, Mr. Murthy was very, very strict about all the corporate governance principles. And that was, for the sapling to take root, to take shape. Having done that, maybe he is looking back and saying that, oh, once the company's culture was so well established, it had become famous, board governance had got established, then the fear of nepotism, that anyone from within the family could have been pushed ahead of his or her merit, had probably gone down dramatically. But because of his disciplinarian and very strict approach and not taking a chance with Infosys in any manner to the extent he could help, maybe he was too rigorous about it, is what he seems to be saying, that, had the kids come, they would not have got it on the platter. They would have to go through the same competition. And if they were meritorious, they would have got a chance. So all that he's saying is, yes, if they had the merit, they would have got a chance. But we were so strict that we never evaluated whether they had that merit or not. And to that extent, the company was robbed of, merit. It's like, letting a few candidates go. I think that's about it. To the extent that they were promoter sons, did they become extra qualified? No, that's not what he's saying. He's saying that I built a company, as he said, that it is available in every country, etc., etc. That was his dream. The way he designed Infosys. He says, in that dream, was it right for me to say, no, my children don't get a chance, or our children don't get a chance? Is our children we should not have got a chance for their birth, but for their merit. If I did not allow that, it was against my own credo that we started with, or the founder's credo. I think that's what he's saying.